The man lifted a steel ring weighing 100 tons. He gently shook off the moss covering it. Then, together with an old woman, they exerted all their strength to pull the rusty chain. Suddenly, a powerful jet of water erupted from behind them. Before they could steady themselves, a whale tail, as massive as a mountain, suddenly shot up from the surface of the sea. It was only then that they realized the island beneath their feet was actually a sleeping ancient whale, as if it had been trapped in the ocean for centuries. As the whale's enormous body slowly rose, the witch clutched the chain tightly, while the whale glided through the clouds, heading toward the distant snowy mountains. As the distance grew shorter, everyone desperately pulled the chain, trying to slow the whale down. The general led the charge, pushing forcefully, throwing teammates onto the snow platform repeatedly. Just when they thought they had succeeded, a biting cold wind suddenly swept in. The whale lost its balance and began to sway violently. I can only explain up to this point. The movie's title is The Last Warrior. The man checked into a hotel. He quickly noticed something strange. The hotel seemed to be shrinking a little more each day. To verify his suspicion, he tied a rope across the room, connecting the two opposite walls before going to bed. When he woke up the next morning, the rope, which had been taut the night before, had inexplicably gone slack. He immediately sensed that something was wrong. He ran out into the hallway to measure the distance. He discovered that a wall he couldn't reach even with outstretched arms last night could now be touched with just a single step forward. Only then was he certain the hotel was indeed shrinking. He rushed to inform his coworkers about the alarming situation, but strangely, no one besides him seemed the least bit concerned.
Together we have a chance!
Even the chefs in the kitchen teamed up to throw him out. Mr. K was originally a touring stage magician. He had a performance scheduled the next day at a cafe in the nearby town, so he had chosen this hotel for a short stay. The front desk was staffed by an elderly one-eyed woman. He booked a single room. That night, he went to bed early, wanting to be well rested for his performance. But the next morning, when he dragged his two large suitcases out in preparation to leave, he found he could no longer locate the exit. The staircase that once led upstairs had been replaced by a crumbling brick wall, and it didn't look newly built, rather. It looked as though it had always been there. Just as he stood frozen in confusion, the old, rusted pipes above began to rattle violently. This prison holds the most powerful warriors in the universe. They not only possess immense fighting power, but are also incredibly ferocious. Even the gods fear them. To imprison them, the gods use chains to bind the warriors and shove thick steel bars into their mouths. Despite this, these Titan warriors remain full of life. As centuries passed, the world underwent tremendous changes, but the human king's ambition grew ever larger. To take revenge on the gods, he found the legendary ancient divine bow and gathered an army of 1,000,000. He prepared to attack the fortress where the warriors were imprisoned. Once these terrifying warriors were freed, the gods would be completely destroyed. The king drew the divine bow and shot a sword of light, which hit the fortress at light speed. The solid city wall 100 meters away was instantly destroyed. In the chaos, the king seized the opportunity to enter the depths of the fortress and came to the golden cage where the Titan warriors were imprisoned. Without hesitation, he drew the divine bow again and shot at Basiling's sword of light, directly hitting the cage. In an instant, the chains that had confined them for thousands of years were shattered. The fierce warriors finally broke free of their restraints. The slaughter began. Due to copyright issues, I can only comment up to this point. The movie is called The Titan Warrior.